they're getting 7th place, and that's about it,
That's it.
along with the points, of course, that come with that, the SI points. But we're going on to Oregon, and this is a little dangerous for eUnited. We just saw Disrupt play this back on Monday against the Sonics. They looked pretty convincing, to be completely honest, especially their attacking rounds looked very, very strong. So eUnited's got their work cut out for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, eUnited's record on this map, 1-4. It's one of their most played maps, but they're not very good at it. So it's kind of weird that they would allow it into the map pool. But I will say this, what we saw in Clubhouse from their defensive side was really, really good. So I feel like Meepies really had a hand in bringing this into the lineup and allowing it through, especially up against Disrupt. They don't have a cause for huge concern. I mean, Disrupt's 1-0 on it in recent history, so not that big of a deal. Don't sound the sirens just yet, but eUnited having a rough record. They're definitely have needed to go back to the drawing board on this map, get some new things implemented. Let's see how it goes. The bans are in now, though. Capital, Maverick, Wamai, and Mira off the board there. So some really, really impactful ones. Big one, though, to notate, Maestro's on the board.
Yeah, Maestro on the board, which has been a very rare thing as of late. You might be surprised to hear that, but with Echo being perma-banned out due to technical reasons, Maestro has been the go-to ban for a lot of teams, and at least for me personally, it's been probably a good week or two since he hasn't been banned out. So we'll have to see how eUnited's going to try and use him, as they're going to get access to him first, and there'll be no delay on that. He's immediately locked in here by the United rosters. They're going to be going into a basement mode first.
Well, you got to lock in the chain gun and the bubble master himself, man. I mean, this guy's got so many titles. It's crazy, you know? So, I mean, with Maestro added to the lineup, it's going to assist in some ways. Like, the site presence is going to be just a touch different. I would say it's going to be a little bit better, in my personal opinion, just because I feel like Maestro brings so much to the team, not only with now having impacts, but having those two evil eyes and an amazing gun. So, we talk about him all the time, though, so let's get into some other things that are going to be a little bit more fun here. Disrupt side of the coin. They're going to be bringing out the Habana. So since we didn't really see any defender bans or offensive bans that really are going to hinder wall breach or wall denial or anything like that, we're going to have the Thatcher on the board, which is going to make things move a lot quicker. I think that this, for being Oregon, is actually going to be a little more equal in terms of who's going to win a round than we've seen in recent history.
So, taking a look at Disrupt's attacks, we got them spawned out. Reed's a little detached from the teams. Don't mind that too much, but he'll be grouping up with them in just a moment here. We are going to see that early drone presence go into the usual positions on the map. A pretty quick entry coming in here as well, I believe, from NJR to take second floor control. That might be Retro, excuse me. Got the Hibana and the Ash confused. My bad. But either way, they're going to take tower control right off the bat here. No resistance on that from eUnited, and this will extend to a large majority of the first floor here. Once again, not much of a big roam game coming out for the eUnited roster, really at all. Once again, playing very heavily into the turtle setups on the basement, as we saw back on Clubhouse as well. So they're going to have to get past this very, very tough setup. The good news is that they've already got a hatch open for themselves to work past, and they've already proven in their match versus the Sonics that they can work their way past these very hard locked-in positions of the tunnel as well. But 3 shields, that's going to be asking a lot to get past here. The only good news is that 2 of them are Goyo shields, so they're going to be potentially a little bit easier to disrupt once they actually get rid of the ADSs that are also sitting on the doorway here.
Yeah, I think that we just need to call this the triangle choke, because, I mean, you got 3 shields here with ADSs set up, and Grix are being very aggressive with this Vector. Use his Nitro Cell early to try and get some nice picks. Disrupt at a loss for words and what's going on right now, and you can't exactly blame them. We don't see very many teams play so aggressively up into the construction area. Disrupt is going to have to go back and try something else unless he can get rid of these shields. Good start here, though. Already burned through the ADSs, got rid of one of the Goyo shields, but still have a lot to go through. I mean, there's 3 shields, once again, inside of this area.
2 of them now gone, though, as the one of the main doors is also going to get exploded here. We still have Alfama's actual shield in position, though, but Alfama has decided to get a little bit more aggressive, and he's not alone in doing this. Grixer also commits to a swing as well, and he's going to be able to find the frag onto Retro as a direct result of that. But I'll fall back a little bit, as they are expecting the trade to come in from the hatch, or at least they're expecting some aggression to work its way in from the hatch. Disrupt is very patiently waiting for eUnited to make the next move here, as NGR knows there's a player locked in the corner. They're hoping that player is going to change position sooner rather than later, but there's not really a reason that Alfama would need to do that due to the shield that's still in position there that the members of Disrupt may not even know is here yet. So a lot to work against. You'll note, of course, that everybody that was trying to push in through tunnel is kind of abandoned ship, and it's pretty much just NJR working for that entry now, as the rest of the team is trying to funnel their way in elsewhere, but they're not having much luck. Kansan has shut down Shuttle on the first attempt to make a push. NJR is now committing himself to the inside of the construction push here. As he started to move forward, he's at least forced Crix Grixter swing a little bit closer to sight, but you still have Alfama, which are really talked to death at this point. Rexen denies the next attempt to work their way down through the hatches of the back stairs. Kansan takes out Reed, and now it's just NJR alive here with only 4 seconds left. Not much that he can do. It's a solid defense put up by eUnited, and they're going to get the first round.
Extremely solid. And this is what we were talking about right at the beginning of this round. We needed to see United go back to the drawing board, present some new things that are going to throw Disrupt off. You can't just take Disrupt to this map when your record on this map is 1-4 and have everyone expect you to do extremely well. So now we're seeing why they opened up this map, you know, and allowed it through up against Disrupt. I mean, Disrupt, again, not having a crazy record on it or anything, so might be a nice pickup here for eUnited. Once again, great defensive setup, really like what they had to offer. Shut Disrupt down on all fronts. I liked how Disrupt tried to eventually rotate, but it was too little too late. They already dedicated so much utility to clearing out construction that they didn't have any utility for anything else. I mean, you're talking 4 stun grenades, 2 breaching rounds, and there's still a shield there. So, I mean, your utility is now starved, and you can't do anything. You just have to try and take gunfights or force your way onto site, and every single avenue that they went to for that, eUnited was already standing in the way. So, shifting gears now into the second round, eUnited heads immediately upstairs. We'll see how this one fares. We're still going to keep Kansan on the Maestro, which, again, it seemed to have the influence that we wanted from this operator, John. I mean, he's 2-0 right now. We'll have to visit back on it once we got a little bit bigger sample size.
Yeah, I didn't get to see too much from his POV either, but definitely did a good job of fending off that hatch and backstairs presence that was coming in there in the later round from Disrupt. That was their attempt to kind of shift things up and counteract the pressure from eUnited that was working its way out the tunnel, obviously to a very limited degree of success there, as it was still shut down pretty quickly due to the massive players on that side of the map. If we saw Disrupt put pressure on maybe like Freezer or even Laundry, there could have been better hope, but we didn't get to get a good look as to what the setup necessarily looked like over there, so could have been ways for eUnited that they had baked into their strategy to try and stop those pushes as well. Disrupt probably just needing to expand their horizons a little bit more when they get a chance to attack that for the second time in 2 or 3 rounds here.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. I mean, that utility is obviously rotatable. Like, you can have the Goyo pick up the shields, shift them across, but I don't think you're going to be going through that full thing there. So it'd probably be, you know, Smoke grabbing his shield, somebody else grabbing their shield, move across to try and handle that freezer take. But it'd definitely be the soft side inside of that setup for them. So very surprised that Disrupt didn't try and shift gears once they saw what was going on inside of construction and instead just went, you know, bold-faced right into it. Early read here from Disrupt, and of course it's Reed. Okay, so Reed inside of Freezer. He'll be having the cutoff downstairs for anyone trying to jump down this hatch. This is a really nice pickup from Disrupt early on.
Big problem is going to be forcing the player down the actual hatch here, as they know that they've got one above that, but they shouldn't be too far away from this potential force either. You can already see J90 with small tower control, and he's not alone either. NJR is also out in the yellow hall, and there you go. Hook, line, and sinker right there. Yeti gets backed up into the hatch, and it's a nice, easy kill for the members of Disrupt to start themselves off with and bring this down to a 5v4. Also puts a big dent in the roam presence, obviously. The Valkyrie's still out and about. That's Grixer currently playing her, but he'll have to make a judgment call sooner rather than later here, whether he's going to stick around outside of the site or try to fall back and play with his teammates deeper in.
Well, we already got the first one. Rhodey stepped up to the plate and asked me if I watched Whiplash. No, I've never seen Whiplash. I don't even know what that is.
It's my favorite movie. I'm offended.
Oh, I'm sorry. so sorry. So Disrupt and eUnited so far in round 2. Nice pickup onto Yeti. So that was pretty expected from what we saw early on. Disrupt now with some hard destruction onto the walls. United still holding tight inside of sight. Not too much action going on just yet. Disrupt got good map control, but they still have to worry about Grixer, who's rotating through downstairs. Grixer, actually, if he would have chose a separate avenue here and went up the freezer stairs instead of main, probably would have ended up getting a kill onto Reed, but could still have some really, really big effectiveness. Grixer does indeed have a nitro cell, so he can stop default plant here if they go for a games plant.
Kansan really rapidly trying to swing his angles here. As you can see, he's now responsible for 3 to 4 different positions. He's got to watch stairs. He's got to watch the push into games. He's got to watch the big window push. He's got to rotate the stairs, get one of the first trades that his team has been able to get so far in this round. But he's not alone in this. Alfama is also a factor too, but they have to be very, very careful. As I've already mentioned with Kansan, there's just so much to watch now. Disrupt is going to run into a momentary pause after that kill from Kansan is picked up, and he's going to be able to successfully down Retro as well here. Looking for more by the big window as that push is was being delayed, but finally NJR has success getting himself up the stairs, just as Alfama is able to deny it, though. He takes him down in a quick trade. Plant's going down. Will Alfama be able to stop it? Not looking. Oh, no! Alfama had him dead to rights right there, but is not going to be able to get the confirmation, so the diffuser goes down, and now he's left alone here. Recovers a bit as he takes down J90. Remember, Retro's pretty much dead to rights right now, so Shuttle's just going to run away from this one. A wild run out from Alfama to try and find Shuttle, but it's unsuccessful as he gets the kill and Disrupt take the round.
Oh, that could be the round that bites him later on right there. I really thought that Alfama had that, especially when he made the rotate into games. They didn't have any vision on him or any intel either, so it was going to be really easy for him to eventually get that kill once he peeked white. Just didn't line up the shot properly. That's really it. I mean, the SMG-11 is a wild gun. It sometimes chooses some really weird spray patterns, especially with flash hider on. But I mean, those are shots that you gotta hit. I mean, I'm sorry, Alfama, but we gotta, you know, put the credit where credit is due, man. And you really needed to hit that shot. That's just very unfortunate there, but that's only the beginning of Oregon so far. Still, obviously, plenty of rounds here, and I mean, if they split 5-1 on defense, that's not that big of a deal.
A very obvious mistake that I'm sure he's very well aware of, so not much else to discuss in that department. He'll, of course, try to recover from that in later rounds. See if he can make up the difference there, but either way, there's going to be an immediate repeat on this site from eUnited. I think you folks can understand why. They did pretty much have that under control, even though it was down to a 2v4. It was looking good for them to be able to deny it up until, of course, that very unfortunate turn of events from Alfama's POV, which allowed it to go into a post-plant position, and even then still made a very valiant attempt to clutch it out. Gonna see if they can make a repeat of that, obviously minus that little mistake at the end of the round once again, so that hopefully they can lock it down and take a second round for themselves. If not, Disrupt is looking good here, especially if their early round play to take the advantage themselves. And
let's see how Disrupt wants to attack here, because we've seen a lot of interesting things happen on kids recently, so...
And folks, you know what you can also check out in the store right now? Some of our great new skins that we have available. The Rainbow Six Share skins, or of course, our NAL Smoke set, which you can find in the Rainbow Six store right now. It's got a little charm there. You can see it shaking on the screen. Go ahead and check those out, folks, if you're interested in purchasing. They support the Rainbow Six scene, including the teams, the game, and a whole lot more. So go ahead and check out those skin sets now in the store.
I wasn't going to buy it until you told me it shakes, but now, oh man, I throw the wallet down on that
I mean,
one.
the graphic makes it shake. I don't know how much it shakes in game.
Even better. All right, well, eUnited Disrupt, we're into round 3 now, folks. eUnited with a really nice setup here. They're trying to slow down Disrupt's entry into the kitchen area, and this is a really good idea. We saw them dedicate some Valkyrie cameras into the cafe area, as well as having Grixer, Yeti, and Rexen all down here. So they know that Disrupt wants to go for this white plant once again, or the double window plant. So they've already planned for it. They've already prepped. They've rotated everything. So this is going to be a completely different look here for eUnited as they try and slow that down. We're probably not going to see Yeti or any of the United members favor Freezer unless they have earlier intel, simply because of what we saw happen the last time. So as for Disrupt, though, making decent progress. It seems as though they want to still go for a very similar attack. They're quite spread right now, so I'd say that they're still in the early beginnings here on what intel they want to gather, as well as gathering some frags, as once again, Yeti is the entry kill.
Good start yet again, as unfortunately Yeti has gone 0 for 2 on these previous 2 rounds of getting trapped out by the members of Disrupt. They've done a fantastic job of hunting him down here and taking him out 2 consecutive rounds in a row. Now, again, with that early advantage, a lot to be gained, of course. They still need to work their way into the site. And this is where things almost went badly for them previously. Reed's going to be able to swiftly move in. They've got a good master and connector control along with it, on top of taking out one of the evil eyes. Alfama is going to get absolutely destroyed here as well. Just barely able to save his own life from the looks of things. He's got 1 HP left. A little bit of damage goes on to Reed here from a nitro cell as well, but he's able to survive the large majority of that and get out of it with about 50 HP still. Rexen taking some heat as well here, man. Utility is doing damage across the board. We've seen 2 players nearly get destroyed by grenades in the last few moments here, as now Rexen and Alfama are both one-shottable.
Yeah, with only 30 seconds left on the clock, both of these squads looking for these big kills that could change anything. Alfama down to that 1 shot, like you said. He's also out of smoke grenades, so it's going to be to the firepower and some lead spray to try and stop any plant attempts here from Disrupt. They're still outside the double window, ready for this, but concussions pour in. They now know that Kansan's here. They hop in the window, but the Alda is absolutely frying. The cook's in the kitchen, but shut down quite early. Shuttle working into dorms now to plant in a very awkward position so that nitro cells, can't try and get him. Grix are now to the top of white, but they don't know exactly where this is happening. Could still counter this, but doesn't have a chance to. Now down into the post plant here in a 2v3 situation, but quickly made into a 1v3 for Rexen. Very low HP and hasn't had the best day in comparison to what we've seen him do in the past, but still has 30 seconds on the clock to try and make this happen, especially with Reed on low HP. Rexen does indeed have a chance here, but somebody flanking up from behind him right now, more than likely not going to be able to win it out, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Reed quickly dispatches Rexen, and Disrupt grabs another offensive round.
Steals the ace from Shuttle, unfortunately. A very good round from him as well, as he does a lot of the heavy lifting, especially the entry work when it comes to trying to get in through a big window there. It does cost him a teammate in the process, but after he gets in, see the flurry of kills that follows that here from a quick little replay that we'll take a look at. He's able to chain 4 together overall before the round concludes. eUnited now with 2 unsuccessful rounds upstairs. Those 2 rounds do unlock the basement for play once again, so they'll be able to return to the only other site where they've been successful so far.
Really liking what I'm seeing from Disrupt so far. I mean, their offensive unit, granted that first round not really working out for them, and they really weren't opt to adapt to that. These last 2 rounds have worked really well for them, especially that last round. Really good adaptation once they got into sight to plant it somewhere else as opposed to where they planted it previously. They knew that those eUnited members downstairs could probably end up killing them. So some really, really smart stuff here from Disrupt so far. But if they're able to push this any farther here, we're starting to get into really desperate territory here for eUnited. Because just to remind you guys once again about these stats, eUnited's offense this season, 38.5% win rate. Their defense 57.4. So eUnited's on their favorable side right now. If they don't get more rounds than I mean what we're usually used to seeing on a map like this, I mean 4-2 split, 5-1, something along those lines, this could be a really, really big problem, and that could mean eUnited out of major quals.
Other problem that we've already talked about before as well is the overall map record here for eUnited on this map. They've played it 4 times in recent history, only able to win it once out of those 4 times though against the Sonics, whereas they've lost it 3 times to Dark Zero and Tempo Storm twice.
Oh, okay, fantastic. All right, somebody actually graciously tweeted me those Electro Claws that Veli was talking about. So yeah, Veli, those do indeed work, by the way. But Grixer's going to get taken out really early on here. I will be honest, I was looking away, obviously. So exactly how did that end up happening?
It was Shuttle that got it, so I assume Shuttle was outside of the tunnel and he just caught Grixer on a swing that happened early on, looking at the dead body's position. It's kind of my crime scene investigation there real quick.
I feel like I'm watching CSI.
Well, that's what that stands for. So I hope so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the thing. Yeti almost does it twice. NGR takes him down. J9 also going to follow it up. This is a lot faster round than what we're used to seeing here. Stun grenades pouring in as well as smokes. Reed's already going for a plan. We got everything in a hell in a handbasket going on right now. 2v3 in favor of the offense. It's a plant goes down for Reed. They still have the crossfires on the back end as well, though, as Shuttle's making it work. It's all down to Alfama inside of Laundry. Smoke grenade hasn't even dissipated yet, folks. There's so much going on here, but with very minimal time as well as the Selma going off, Alfama has nothing to try and work with this. Reed takes him out inside of the smoke. The guy doesn't have eyes, ears, and now he doesn't even have a conscience. So Disrupt walk away with yet another round, just bullying EU at this point.
I mean, what do we say back on round 1? Right, we needed a little bit more pressure to work its way in from Laundry and Freezer. I just
need more cowbell.
I didn't get.
That's all I need.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the full burst of it from Disrupt because it all happened so quickly. But it did look like we saw a lot more pressure a lot more quickly from those 2 avenues, and it works like magic. Unfortunately, as eUnited is a little bit overcommitted to that other side of the map, where to be fair, most teams have been executing just like Disrupt did on the first round, but this time it's a far cry from that. And on top of the first kill they're able to get against the tunnel setup, it just makes it all that much easier for them to flood in, get the site control, and of course the third round that comes with it. Disrupt dominating right now on the attacking side.
Oh, extremely dominant. We've had 3 plants in a row right now. That's something that you don't see every single day, but that does actually throw us back to the previous matchup between these two that we saw about 2 weeks ago. Inside of that series alone, John, DG had 7 plants and eUnited had 11 in one series. That, you don't see that. Like that. That is, listen, your hard breach just got to be really happy because, every single one of those plants accounts for like 25 kills.
Yay, I get to contribute this round.
Dude, my cost is looking great.
I mean, to be fair though, with Ace being like the new mainstay, like I think hard breaches are a little bit more fraggy nowadays anyway. So
I would play hard support. I want that AK-12.
yeah, I mean,
That thing looks fun.
they can kind of take a fragging role at least a lot more confidently now because they're not working with like the 5.56. I mean, Tabata's gun's pretty good too. So
Yeah, the only thing is like that low mag
Yeah.
capacity that gets you into trouble. We've seen a lot of people make really good use of Habana as well, most notably Shaiko. I mean, he's really the one that influenced a lot of people to be more aggressive on her with his angled grip hollow play. And we've seen that kind of be echoed by a lot of other, teams. But now that we have Ace in, it's a whole different ballgame. That AK-12 is so dangerous. It's got a really, really good rate of fire, which if you guys are new to Rainbow Six Siege and you don't know too much about the weaponry, that's the thing that we care about the most. Rate of fire is king in this game. You will win a lot more gunfights strictly based off of that with like decent damage as opposed to really high damage and low rate of fire. Perfect instance, IQ. That's why people use the G8 over the 5.52 Commando.
all right, it's a really quick small tower push coming in now from Disrupt. eUnited hear the noise. They know exactly what's happening, and you can see the immediate utility switch. Quick reinforcement goes onto one of the closet walls. They pepper a little shot line across the other one, and they also move one of their deployable shields over there too. So they're going to be much more prepared for the eventual execute from the laundry and freezer side this time. That Disrupt, they're still mounting up for it. We got two players on freezer stairs trying to work their way in. Yeti tries to throw out a nitro, but it looks like it either got shot or disabled in some way when it was thrown out. So that one's not going to explode. Disrupt kind of waiting to see if NJR can line up a kill more than likely right now. He's got a good angle onto the players that would go through the normal laundry rotate, but obviously getting one of them is a bit of a roll of the dice. They have also got to be very careful just pushing out because of this angle from Kansan too. This could kill multiple members of Disrupt if they don't catch on to it. So hopefully Disrupt are watching out for that, or at least have opened up that possibility through their droning efforts. But I've got a good feeling that Kansan may get away with one for free on this.
Yeah, what seemed to be a sprint for Disrupt initially has grown to a halt here, as this is going to be a big pickup here for Kansan, as he actually might be able to get another, but oh no, he's not able to see him through the soft destruction. Shuttle gets it instead with the frag grenade. Kansan finally follows through and picks up Shuttle as well as another, but immediately refragged by J9. We're back to just trading back and forth between these two squads. Down into the 3 versus 3 though. Disrupt worse for wear now. Lots of damage done to every single one of these members, but Retro definitely the worst off here, only having about 5 HP. Minimal time now though, and obviously desperately need a plant here, but they're getting a lot of good damage off onto EU now though. Grixer getting lit up, as well as Alfama taking just a touch.
United very much staying stalwart in their current positions here. Disrupt going to start to use their remaining utility. They still have a bit of drone intel that they can gain for themselves as well, with 3 active drones, or excuse me, 1 active drone per player remaining. NJR going prone here, hoping he can get a foot, but he's going to miss that opportunity. Tries to chuck in a smoke, but missed the ADS just to his left in the process. Sub 10 seconds here now. They've got to start pushing in. Alfama's already been able to deny J9. Retro goes down quickly too. Grixer was able to, or excuse me, Retro was able to take out Rexon, but it's not going to really matter for Not, as that last player is not going to be able to establish any sort of serious positioning to contend for a plant. So we'll see another successful run from the United roster, although it's definitely not all smiles looking at them over there, and as they net themselves their second round.
There's nothing to smile about yet. It's just another round, John. They need to get to the major quals. Eyes on the prize for eUnited is what it seems, is determination in every single set of eyes that I locked onto. So eUnited going to be shifting gears here, headed back upstairs. And guys, we're going to have a purely two-sided defensive half here for eUnited. They have a chance to try and split this 3-3 going into the offensive set, but right now, still looking quite desperate, even with the rewritten setups that they have for their defenses. It seems that DG is just too damn good right now on their offense. I mean, they ended up getting caught off guard a little on that last round there, but it really just seemed to be the initial cadence that they took. They sprint into freezer and they immediately halt, and they feel as though that they can't back out. They tried to commit to it, but obviously eUnited was already ready for it. I mean, you've done it twice to really, really great success. We are going to assume you're going to try it again. You know what I mean?
All right, so back upstairs now for eUnited, taking a look and seeing if there's going to be anything crazy going on with the setup. We do see Repton putting one of the ADSs to the inside of Master, so there's the possibility we might get that bedroom set up here. Once again, 2 ADSs, in fact, going here. And there's the shield from Grixer. It's just a little awkward to put on the bed, so he's going to take a second to try and position it. You can see him flinging it out a bunch here, just try and make sure he gets a good spot for it. But there we go. They're going to do that extended bedroom hold, try and give them a little bit more real estate to try and stop Disrupt from being able to take so much control early on. I don't know how well this is going to work, though, because from my memory, except for just getting the walk-in control, Disrupt hasn't necessarily needed all this control towards Master, so we're going to see how well this plays out for them. as I think this is part of the take that could possibly be ignored, assuming they're able to still get some good control over towards the back stairs.
Oh, it's even worse than you think it is. Disrupt didn't go for a tower master clear at all the last time, and eUnited's dedicated all of their ADSs inside of master. Grixer has every single one of them. So if they actually do end up going for that double window take, there's not a single thing there to try and stop any throwable that they have. And by the way, they have a lot of them.
So taking a look at what exactly we're going to see from the Disrupt roster right at the start, it is a lot of droning coming from Small Tower, which is the route they've taken before. But there is also some presence in Attic this time, so they may yet still play into that setup from eUnited, and a bit of a gamble on focusing so much of the utility over there may, and it's a very big may, still pay off. We'll have to see how that works itself into play later on in the round. For Disrupt, though, they're working to quickly get themselves an opening over here in Attic, and they're going to do that with all three of the X-Kairos. Won't get interrupted by the defenders here, so they're all going to go off without a hitch, and that will give Disrupt access. More than likely, though, I think this is only going to be left for 1 to 2 people to play for entry. This is just one real point of what seems to be a much more complicated take from Disrupt.
All right, well, eUnited going to shift all of this utility across as Jaeger picks up every single ADS and slaps him down inside of Attic. So do still have some presence on the double window here from J9 as Disrupt is strung along the entire map. They have Attic control now, though, but just the front end still need to burn through for Pit, as well as get those members pushed back. But they're pretty good on time right now. Disrupt still has a lot of time at their disposal to handle these situations. They just need to do them appropriately, and it seems as though they want to take the time to do that. Still have quite a few members on drones trying to get this initial information so that they know where these members are and can handle it accordingly.
Come dangerously close to a couple firefights here, but players have kind of danced past each other for the good last minute or so. This favors eUnited, in my opinion, due to the fact that Disrupt have been winning a lot of the outright duels that have presented themselves here so far in this half. Of course, that could potentially change up moment to moment, however. But from what we've been seeing overall, it's been looking good for Disrupt. This one not going to start so well, though. Yeti with a very long rotate. We went on him for just a moment a little bit earlier, and he was rotating all the way through the basement. So a big windup on that one. But it gets him a free kill here so far. Cans is also able to find one, too. Denies the opening pressure from Reed. Retro trying to work his way in through the Attic push now that was opened up. But there's still a lot of problems lurking against him. They've got to deal with this Jaeger. Looked like the shot was dead on. Deals a good amount of damage, but it's not going to be enough to take out Rex in here. You just have the 2 window players left, and they really don't have a way to get in here. So more than likely, they're just going to hop it, take a risk, see if they can make it happen, and it won't, as you guys might expect there. So eUnited will be able to close out round number 6 and keep this in close contention at halftime.
Practically a flawless round there for eUnited as well. So good adaptations, just real rough from Disrupt there. Mainly because if they would have went for their attack that they were so successful with before, they probably end up winning that round. Mainly because eUnited had planned their entire defensive setup around that tower and master take. Disrupt didn't even get that far. They got Attic control and then immediately started getting picked off. eUnited started rotating around players downstairs. Most notably, Yeti, like we talked about. Really nice pickup downstairs onto the Ash. So lots of good things there for eUnited. Just really messing with the plans of Disrupt in that last round.
Yeah, they might have kind of played themselves a little bit by trying to make that take so complex, because it took away a lot of potential trades, I think, because when they were pushing previously, they were a lot more grouped up, and I think that left a lot of options open. If their first player going in didn't necessarily hit their shots immediately and went down there was usually someone right behind them or very close by that could ultimately trade that out, whereas I don't think that was necessarily available for a lot of the losses they took early on when they finally started pushing in on that previous round here. So Disrupt now going to move back into the basement, or excuse me, Disrupt going to move into the basement, I should say, now that they start off their defensive half.
Yeah, they just got here. And this is their first time in the basement.
Lost track of time because this game's so intense, you know?
Oh, it's just so fun. Yeah. So fun. Also, our last commentating set before Major comes.
That's
so
true.
Yeah. So, you know, good things die hard, I guess, because eUnited and Disrupt are just going at it every step of the way. So I'm hoping that we get a map 3, but right now, I don't really know how to feel. If Disrupt comes out really strong on this defense right here, then I really feel as though this is all she wrote for eUnited. But by what we're already seeing here, this is either going to be quite a quick take into Freezer for eUnited, or you know, just rudimentary stuff, get the EMPs down, get these hatches open, and try and, you know, progress further. We'll have to see how they try and take this, though.
And Jared currently holding on the Freezer stairs, so he'll have the potential for a meetup with some of the members of eUnited relatively soon, but a bit more clearing to be done both upstairs and on the main floor, so it looks like he's actually going to pass that opportunity for a fight by, as now Rexen rotates over to those back stairs with Grixer, and it looks like Kanz and a few of the others going to be grouping up with them as well. Yeti's still doing a bit of top-down destruction, possibly to reveal the position of NJR if he were to get aggressive, but nothing's going to show him out just yet. The ground above him should be relatively safe. Opening up some more rotate routes here as well, just to make that effort a bit of an easier job. We'll open up one of the freezer hatches too. NJR going to be falling back deeper into the freezer itself now that he doesn't have the relative safety anymore, and will play to defend the freezer itself instead of the stairways leading to it.
Well, good progress made by eUnited so far, getting the hatches open and everything along those lines. Alfama with a pretty cheeky setup here for the Selma, drops the smoke, and then immediately puts it on to try and break vision, but Reed's got impacts, and that's exactly how that one's going to work out. You toss that in there, blows up, Selma charge now gone. Don't want to try and dedicate any other utility to that, and you can't exactly blame them, so Alfama going to try and take that other places. Kanzan already using all of his hard destruction, so he's now down at the bottom of Laundry Stairs, and he'll be here for more than likely the rest of the round unless he's killed. Kanzan wants to hold this down just to keep constant pressure on these Disrupt members and not allow them to rotate where they want to go. Also could be setting up for this freezer plant pretty soon as well. Still have Reed here inside of the closets. He'll be dipping back and forth, but Disrupt seem to be good for this offensive set or this offensive take from eUnited. Selma charge is now down on the closet, but that's going to get taken out. Does make things a little bit more awkward to stand inside of there, though.
Gotta watch out for your head, of course, if you try to go for a wider swing, especially if you're trying to use that sidewall in order to accomplish the task. 38 seconds remain here, and finally, members of eUnited are going to start to show their face on the site. Unfortunately, it does not go well for them. They're able to take out about half the HP from Reed, but Reed gets a solid kill on Kanzan. Get him out of the fight here. Rexen, crouching in the middle of Freezer, is going to be able to find the trade onto Reed. Brings things down into a 4 versus 4. Rexen will actually go up on top of some terrain here, try to see if he can get himself a kill as well. But in the meantime, Alfama's swung right in. There is a member of Disrupt nearby. He just doesn't feel the confidence to push out there outright. He is able to deny the plant, but he's lost his entire team. However, with 7 seconds left, could try to play the timer, but that's not going to happen. eUnited successfully forced their way into the site and take control of the opening attacking round.
Really strong start there for them. So eUnited looking strong on this offense, at least for that first round there. Trying to adjust some notes. I accidentally wrote 2 numbers incorrectly. So there we go. All right, now that things are in order for me, we can talk about what the heck just happened. eUnited with a pretty good offense there. I mean, it was just what we really expect from that kind of a take. You know, freezer laundry, smoke plant, just trying to deny lines of sight. There was nothing really extra to it at all. There was nothing really botched by Disrupt there or anything of that sort. So, I mean, as long as eUnited are allowed to get that execute to go off in such a good fashion, I don't see anything really going awry for them. For Disrupt, though, I would have liked to see them try and extend the round just a little bit more for their man count, because I feel like they could have been a lot more successful once that Nitro Cell went off and took out the planner. If DG even has one more body there, then they really have a good chance to try and shut that out up against eUnited, strictly because of the timer. If they're able to contest one gunfight and win it, they probably end up winning that round.
Biggest problem for trying to make that happen, though, was the fact the shuttle got blinded out. And, I mean, from the amount of time it took him to actually put that Nitro on the ground, he couldn't really decipher much from sound cues either. So he was the only player, I think, that was watching Laundry at that point, as Reed had died a couple seconds before that push happened. And as a result of that, he just couldn't see anything. He probably couldn't account for the massive burst of players suddenly coming out, and because it went uncommunicated, that more than likely led to a couple of the deaths on Disrupt as well, and things just kind of fell down like dominoes from that point forward. So Shuttle was able to maybe make a play there, get a bit more aggressive, or just try to decipher what was going on through the smoke a little bit better. Things may have ended up a little bit more positively for Disrupt in that situation, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think that there's quite a few things that obviously could have changed for them, but nevertheless, eUnited walking away with that round after some, just really good gameplay. I mean, there was nothing more than that. They just went through the steps and did them properly, and when you do the stuff properly and you don't mess it up, you're probably going to end up winning. Isn't that funny? That's just kind of how it works. So eUnited now going to be showing a little bit of a different take here, forcing Rexen up main stairs. Haven't seen something this aggressive in some time. We've seen them do this with Yeti on the previous map. We saw him a lot of cheeky kills as that Ash crouch walking around. And that's usually something that we frown upon inside of competitive Siege, but it still works just as well here as it works anywhere else. You can still get those really nice entry kills simply by Disrupt members not holding the proper lines of sight. eUnited are going to immediately back off of that, though, and try and play a little bit more patient.
JR continuing to patiently wait for any presence to work its way up to master balcony, but we're not going to see that, and more than likely won't see that for the foreseeable future here, as most of the pressure from eUnited is working its way up the main stairs, where NJR is able to now deny the first bit of aggression from the eUnited roster, although just barely taking down, I believe, Cans in there before Yeti is able to get a nice chance at an exchange against Retro, who I think ran out from somewhere deeper, possibly over here on the west side of the map, it looks like, judging from the way he was aiming, but
I was gonna say, you said deeper, and then we walked past the first window. I was like, even deeper, just all the way over at
No,
showers
more.
jumping out. Perfection.
Either way,
anyways,
with that bit of a trade, eUnited are going to be able to make a bit more progress. They seem to have most of the control over towards Master. This includes getting their hard breach up to the walk-in wall, so he's got the capability to disable that, and it's already been breached too as well here. So Alfama has full vision to the inside. Flashes are going to move in. That Nitro is going to get tossed out, but doesn't seem to do much damage to the attacking force here, as all four of them still at full HP. NJR, of course, is going to be hiding now due to the low HP that he's working with, so don't expect any heroics from him. He's got to take a very safe angle here, but some of the other players may still be able to step up to the plate. You can see, though, quite a few of Disrupt's roster have really been self-contained to the inside of kids' dorms. They don't seem to have a safe route to try and battle back out of that. But the good news is eUnited is very patiently waiting for them to try and swing out of there, so they're still safely baiting down a lot of the time as a result of hiding in the back right now.
yeah, we saw a lot of them dedicated to drones here, and they're just trying to redrone the site to find where these positions are for Disrupt. Really smart, especially going to the later rounds, so you know what you're dealing with. But oh no, Alfama's gonna have some problems with the wall once again. He's very low HP, and he's now downed himself. This is such a big problem now. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeti has to try and swing in through the window, but Disrupt all over it there on that defensive round, all because of Alfama dying on that. They had to try and collapse simply because the case went down. The crossfire was set up. They probably win that round once again if Alfama's able to put that down.
Alfama just
Oh man,
just not having the luckiest day here. Unfortunately, Alfama is not, as that's the second gaff that we've seen just on this map. That's going to tie us up at 4-4 now. It's going to bring the members of Disrupt back into the game and give them an opportunity to take control of the lead once again. And this time it's going to be on a kitchen and dining hall defense. They're not feeling the need to go down to the basement right now.
okay, well, after that last one, you just kind of got to shake you shake it off, move forward.
It's like I said with the
There's
other
no real
round, right?
reason
It's just like, whatever, just get past it, just keep playing. There's like, you know what you did wrong, you know exactly what happened. Don't worry about it. Just keep playing, right? Don't let it bother you.
Exactly. It's like what they say in the NFL, right? Like mind of a quarterback. If you throw an interception, you immediately still have to get back out there and, do it the next time when it's your time. So you can't sit there and dwell on the past. You don't have any control of it. So you might as well work into the future and see what you can possibly produce. But as for right now, I mean, still stings a little bit. I think that eUnited still definitely have a chance. It's just that, especially with how smokes work, sometimes, you can't see exactly where the smoke's outline is, and on such low HP. Just very unfortunate that Alfama ended up getting caught on that breach once again. I mean, he's been stuck by 2 rotates today, one on Clubhouse and one on Oregon. I don't know what we need to do. Do we need to get like a carpenter in here to fix these? He needs something.
Like I said, it just hasn't been Alfama's day, unfortunately. What we can talk about here is this interesting setup from Disrupt. We saw this on Monday, too. You guys the first question you're going to have is, well, why is that entire wall on the left side of site completely soft? And that's because they kind of want eUnited to take control of it, because their Disrupt, this is setting themselves up for great denial from both inside of the showers here, of course, to stop the players from getting small tower control to begin with, and then deeper back in kitchen as well to really try and disrupt the overall push here from eUnited. I hate that I have to use that word with this team name, but but yeah.
Par for the course, my man. Par for the course. Well, we'll see if we see that cool angle that we saw upstairs inside of kids once again. I'm assuming that it's there simply because the single panel's broken, but we saw the Sonics try and plant on the A-bomb chassis inside a site, which was quickly dispatched by, DG the last time that we saw this, or by the other unit. Can't exactly remember because my brain is fried, but eUnited making good progress into small already, and actually... Oh, well, I assumed there for just a second that they're actually breaching the top floor, but they don't have anything there to really assist them with that. This is going to be Rexon up top with some breaching rounds. So they'll have some soft destruction here. Only hard destruction they have is those throwable ones. Obviously, the Ace and Habana along for the ride. But since eUnited's going into the setup that John was just so graciously talking about, this is going to make things a little bit different. They really have to worry about this Showers player right now, as well as the utility on the actual site. Now, a lot of these Disrupt members are going to be carrying that denial. It's all about the entry frags right now for EU.
Disrupt just patiently waiting for this. They know that at the moment this is a very one-dimensional push entirely from small tower side. As far as I can tell, there is no efforts from eUnited to try and work their way in either through front door or another avenue to try and come in on the back on these guys. So yeah, with this big conjoined push, Kanza might be the only real differential to this, but even he's just watching yellow window right now, which isn't going to give them much of an angle to try and take down the player in showers. They might get lucky and catch him on a fallback, but that's a bit of a Hail Mary at this point in the round. Now that you're already down to 1 minute. They feel they've got what they need, though, and they've been pretty efficient with these smokes. It's going to block off both their POVs, but Nitro Cell rolls in. It looks like it got either shot or denied in some way, though, as it's not going to explode. Same thing can be said for the smoke charges if there's one of those thrown, but hey, defenders don't have a smoke, so we don't have to worry about that. There we go. There's the Nitro Cell from Retro. It's going to be able to take down Alfama just a little bit too late, unfortunately, as the plant is already down. And now this plan from Disrupt turns itself back against their own setup, as it's just as hard to retake against this as it is to hold it here. We can see it. Grixer, Rex, and all picking up kills. NJR is going to be able to get 1 for Disrupt, but it's now been brought down to a 2 versus 3. They've got less than 20 seconds to jump on the case and get the counter defuse here. Retro tries to go out. He'll be shut out by Yeti, and the same can be said for NJR, who goes down at the end as well. That's another one for eUnited, who will maintain control of their lead with that round being won.
Really, really intelligent execute there from eUnited. Very low requirement as well. I mean, they really didn't have any map control that was, you know, over the top. They didn't have anything that they necessarily didn't need. So eUnited able to progress forward simply because of a smoke plant once again. I feel like these have grown more prevalent in recent history. We kind of went away from them where we never saw smoke plants anymore, but since the meta's changed up a lot, especially with the defensive utility, these have definitely rushed back to the forefront here. eUnited pulling off yet another one, which we didn't think that they really were going to be able to do. I mean, even when the smokes went down, I still assumed that there would be some sort of vision or something in sight for the defense to be able to know where the plant was going down, but that wasn't the case. They'd go for a Hail Mary Nitro Cell, but he gets shot out of the air by Grixer with some really nice reflexes, and then that's all she wrote for Disrupt. You have to try and, as you said, push back against eUnited. Now that the setup's completely flipped, it's still going to be just as hard to try and retake as it is for them to try and take and plant. So, I mean, very, very rough going there for Disrupt.
And that really is the pivotal moment of the round, was when that Nitro Cell gets shot out there, because if that thing goes off, it's going to deny the plant. And even worse, it plays right in a Disrupt setup, because they have the case now locked in the middle of sight, and there's no easy way for anyone from eUnited to try and sneak in there and take it, because they just used their only utility that was going to block vision. So unfortunate for Disrupt, is if that had gone off, they more than likely would have closed that out based on the way I was looking at it. But for eUnited, it works just as well in their favor, now that they were able to deny the Nitro Cell denial and be able to get the plant down for themselves. Great work by them. And of course, he said it was a great shot by Grixer to really save their butts in that situation.
It's been a great map from eUnited overall, especially with what we were talking about at the beginning. I mean, having a 1-4 record on Oregon, then allowing it into the map pool is not something that we see all the time. So eUnited allowing this through meant that they needed to improve on it. And so far, I'll definitely say that they have. I mean, these offenses have been really, really crisp. The defense as well looking quite strong. So eUnited still well within this race and trying to push us to this third map that's really, really needed.
Let's see Laundry Hatch get opened up relatively quickly here. Not that there's going to be much resistance on that. The same can be said for the Meeting Hatch going downstairs, and even Freezer too. No resistance from our defenders in that regard, so plenty of POVs going to be opened up for eUnited to use. Will they be able to use them, though? That's always the big question here. So Freezer and Laundry Access has been the go-to, considering the heavy setups we've been seeing from a lot of teams, DG notwithstanding, of course, over there towards the tunnel. And like I said, this round's no exception to that. They've got plenty of players set up, along with plenty of utility in that department, so they're going to try and ignore it by going for more Laundry and Freezer pressure. Disrupt will be very well aware of this. So they've got their own setup to try and start counteracting this a little bit more, but they've got to get a good lock as to where exactly the pressure is going to be coming from, as eUnited are changing their player positions up quite rapidly, and Disrupt are having to try and respond to that just based off the audio cues and any cameras that may still be left up, which I would bargain that there's probably not a lot of them.
Yeah, this is where things get quite hectic for both squads, as they're trying to make those mid-round adjustments that can win you these really, really needed rounds. I mean, as we're looking at right now, 5-4 right now in between these two, is currently inside of round 10. But for Disrupt, it's pretty general setup for the downstairs, usual shield setups and everything else in between. But we are going to have yet another smoke play here from eUnited as Kansan drops down, and that's the Habana. Retro takes him down. I mean, you're not going to be missing too much. Drone's gone. I mean, the only thing you're really going to be missing from that is Kansan's firepower.
Yeah.
So going into these last couple of seconds, Disrupt looking quite strong. Retro burns his last smoke on tower stairs. eUnited desperately need to try and force themselves into sight. They've already burned quite a bit of utility here. Alfama does still have a smoke that he can utilize, but the kill's now coming through for the blue squad. Immediately refragged by NJR, though. Alfama lighting up the scoreboard, finally has something done. Rexon from the top rope takes down Retro and Harry Potter, and he's now got the cross for Freezer. The case is down inside of supply, though. They really need to pick this up and go for this, but he's down one. Grixer actually kills his teammate. Oh no, eUnited, not again. It happens again. Disrupt went around off of EU's mistakes.
I'm always really hesitant to say this, but I'm gonna say it because I think it's applicable. I mean, eUnited, their greatest enemy at this point is starting to become themselves to a small degree here. Because
it's really Jekyll and Hyde right now. It really is.
Like I said, I hate to say that because it's a very strong statement, but it is 3 rounds now. Technically 4 if we count the glitch to rotate from Alfama as well. But that's not really his fault.
What the hell was going on with Kansan? Like, and my only question with that is, like, is his main job to kill the player in Harry Potter, the guy in Pillar? Is he supposed to be entering sight? Why is he dropping when he really doesn't have vision inside of there? Like, the smoke grenade obviously helps mask it, but he still has to move out and other people can just watch the 2 doors. There's just some really weird things inside of the rounds where you're like, oh, United's made some really good progress, and then it just goes sideways.
I mean, I think it's just trying to establish a really forward entry position, because it's like, I mean, you mentioned it, right? When he died, he didn't have any drones still. Both of them are already dead. He'd already used all 3 of the X-Kairos, so all you were losing was his gun and the player, obviously. So I think they probably had some good drone intel as to where players were specifically at, and they were hoping that he would have been able to drop down there, get a kill real quick, and open up more of a window for players to like swarm in from backstairs, and of course more come into hatch at the same time. And that obviously just didn't happen, so he just gets downed outright, and no one else follows him because they'd probably suffer the same fate. So
yeah, really no follow through there. It's just like, okay, if he gets it, then we follow through. But if he doesn't, I guess we kind of got to go back to the drawing board.
Plan B, boys. 4v5. Like I suppose, like I said, I'm not a pro, so I'm not built for analyzing these things. But that's my kind of assumption as to what the situation was supposed to be there.
You're probably right. The beauty of Rainbow Six and like pro play in general is that it's usually like common sense. You know what I mean? Like if you see them do something, you're like, oh, that looks really smart. That's usually because it is, and that's why they're doing it. You know what I mean? So I mean, for that, I could definitely see that working out here. But eUnited now just aggressively getting inside of the building. We have less than 30 seconds off the board. Kansan standing on top of the mattress inside of Master right now. Rex in here as well inside of Armory. We could see some really early entry here.
Yeah, at the very minimum, it's very early control going over to the United side. You'll note, of course, the lack of a lot of utility from Disrupt here on the inside of the bedroom, which is something that United did towards the end of their half. In the meanwhile, though, it's also important to note that Reed is down on the 2nd floor, and there's no one looking for him at this point. So he's got so much free intel that he's going to be able to gain as to where exactly the majority of the United players are coming from right now. Even if he goes down here, right, he's still going to give a great amount of intel as to what exactly the rest of the folks on Disrupt should expect here.
Yeah, and that's going to help them out a lot. They can shift their utility. They can move players around to assist with these kinds of things. I mean, the main thing is right now for eUnited, they kind of did things backwards as to what we're used to seeing for this kind of a take, which isn't a bad thing because they got really good control of Master early on. You might as well use your utility there while you're already there to utilize it and get it done. So they're going to shift on over to Big Tower here and start working on that attic. Once they get control of that, it's going to be down to that execute time once again, where we're going to be looking for those entry frags for EU.
So still a little bit more work to be done, as you were talking about there, kind of doing things a little bit in the reverse order right now. We'll see the rest of United start to work their way in here. It's mainly from main stairs side. You just saw 1 player leap into Arsenal, and of course we got 2 to 3 in bedrooms. That seems to be the main avenue of attack right now. Disrupt do have players downstairs in meeting too, so they're still very much aware of the fact that they can be trying to get out of control, and they're trying to watch for the rotates on that. That's what J9's doing, prone over there inside of meeting. But it's actually gonna be Reed that falls first. Like I said, he was kind of on his own there, and he did have freedom to just sit on the heartbeat sensor for, you know, the first 2 minutes of this round. So it's not too surprising that he is gonna get picked for free. But like I said before, J9 is in the neighborhood, and he's here to trade. Takes out Yeti and is gonna bring it right back down into a 4v4.
And it sounded like a friendly neighborhood watch thing. I was just in the neighborhood, stopped by, shot Yeti,
Just
and then
neighbor to kill
I
you.
left. Just very quickly and early on here. But actually not so early on, as Alfama once again gets dispatched as he tries to push into games, and it's disrupt all over the board once again. But Grixer trying to change things up. Rexon takes down one as well. Grixer follows through onto the double kill with Shuttle. That angled grip helping him out quite a bit. Now down to J9 though. Needs to try and find where this man's planting. They don't have exactly any information on where he was. That was, oh no, my goodness, what is going on in between these guys? So many things that should not have happened right there. Wow. Okay, so eUnited ends up winning that. Grixer pistol whipping the last remaining member of DG, but I really thought that Disrupt had that. I mean, they had no read on where that last Disrupt member was. Comes to the top of White Stairs, and very unfortunate for him, he clicks the Nitro Cell at the same time as the EU member steps out into his line of sight, which means that you can't ADS. So he has to hip fire with the SMG-11 and try and win that. Luckily enough, he still wins it after he peeks into the actual dorms area, but it was too little too late. eUnited end up winning another round here, and it really just feels like a miracle when eUnited's doing these things. I mean, like, both of these teams end up having these little issues. I really don't know what to tell you. This has been just a very weird Oregon.
Well, for me, Grixer gets the gold star on that round. He gets 2 entries that he really had like no business getting for himself there after his teammate went down when he was trying to get walk-in control, and because he gets those 2 kills, that's the only reason the rest of his team is getting into that site right there. Without him, that's absolutely a disrupt round. So really good stuff by Grixer there to open up the possibilities where otherwise it would not have been presented. Definitely the main component in the success there for eUnited. And of course, it's put them on map point now. Disrupt has to respond on this round and take us to OT again, where we are going, or excuse me, take us to OT for the first time, as he didn't actually go to OT on the last map. So yeah, they need to close it. They need to try and bring it back here. Otherwise, we are going to go to that map 3.
Well, we'll see what happens here. I was definitely surprised by that Grixer play as well. The fact that he got to the top of White Stairs and was just still allowed to exist, that was the thing that blew me away. I assumed somebody would have the cross or be able to help out the white player in some way, but that was not the case. eUnited walk away with that last round, but as you said, match point time here. eUnited desperately need this to push us to map 3. If they let Disrupt back into it, this will be our first OT of the day in between these two. Disrupt feeling confident about this top stairs hold, and I can't blame them. They've went back to what worked prior. They've moved NGR into Master, trying to slow down EU's take up here. That prior round just getting a lot of pressure into that closet early on, which allowed them to use that hard breach and really set a really good tone for the rest of the round.
He's even got an electric wall supporting him as well in case anybody tries to hard breach the wall next to him. So they're really betting a lot on NJR staying successful here, as they're obviously going to make it pretty darn difficult for eUnited to be able to get access to his current position without taking a direct gunfight against him. J9 is supporting the swing from behind him too, so this is a really tight setup for Disrupt if it ends up working, and there's no reason why it shouldn't work right now. It all just comes down to the fragging potential ultimately and how players like J9 are going to be able to hold up in their positions. They've also got capability to deny any pressure coming in. The real question is, what exactly is Shuttle's plan way over here in Attic from the other side of the reinforced wall? And this is it. We get a quick answer to that as well. Waits for the call from his teammates and then immediately goes wild, swinging out there to take down Grixer.
Well, you got to give it to Shuttle. I mean, he has had such a showing inside of this series so far. And like the analyst desk was talking about, one of the most improved players inside of all of the NAL. So really nice to be seeing him do really well inside of this series here. 11-3-6 right now on Oregon, and continuing to light up that scoreboard. I mean, him as well as NJR both having a 0.7 KPR. They are 0.78 KPR, excuse me. But they were talking about how those two have really been the duo of this squad so far, making really big impact when needed. And it's happening again here. Shuttle top fragging and NJR right behind him at 8-5-8.
Retro in a bit of a pressured position right now. He's going to be incredibly important for the success or failure, more than likely, of the initial execute here, as eUnited are more than likely going to have to swing right past his position before they can get further out onto the site. Alfama's the player looking to get out, but he doesn't necessarily want to push the advantage as of yet, mainly because he's got these smokes to throw out here. And we are going to see Rexon get down first by Shuttle when players do begin to try and move in. That was an attempt to cut off Retro, I believe, further down by the stairs there. Alfama trying to look for better positioning to play off of here now. In fact, he's worried about a rotate coming back through main stairs because of the action that happened down below a couple seconds before. They still have 25 seconds, so they can make this work. In fact, Yeti is finally going to be able to catch Retro out and take him down. Shuttle, though, is going to walk right up behind Yeti, finding the trade. Alfama will be able to deny him at least, but J9 is sitting on the inside of Attic and swiftly gets the final kill to put Disrupt back up to 6 as well here, tying us up and taking us to the first OT of the series.
Well, it wouldn't be a fight for a major bid unless there was some overtime involved, so let's jump right into it. That round, though, eUnited, not the best showing on their clears. They had some really good ideas going into the later half there. Nice rotation there by Yeti over towards White, but they weren't accounting for Disrupt to continue to try and move these players around, specifically Shuttle. Shuttle was just kind of off doing his own thing, maintaining control downstairs and either going to attempt a Nitro Cell or go for a late flank at some point. Obviously can also come back to site. There's a lot of options for him there, and that's exactly why he chose to play downstairs. So, great showing there, again, by Disrupt, but specifically Shuttle. He was really the highlight of that entire round and the real reason why Disrupt got to push this to overtime in the first place. We are going to have some interesting things, though, already starting us off in this round. It's going to be the first time that we've seen Monty this entire series.
It's going to be interesting to say the least, as it'll be against a basement push as well, so more than likely some good capability to directly contest those heavy tunnel setups that we've been seeing from both Disrupt and eUnited on their defensive sides. The same thing can be applied to a couple other kind of important points in the setup here from Disrupt as well, so might force a bit more out of our defending team here, who's rounded the comeback after initially controlling this map, and is now going to try and look for the outright 2-0 victory if they can win 2 out of the next 3 rounds. Rest of the setup is going off here now. We do have the Goyo, so you can expect some shield play to be done by the tunnel once again. Not that we would expect anything different on this site. There you go. They're working on the half wall setup now to allow that to happen, and here's the first of some of those shields from Shuttle.
All right, well, let's see how eUnited tries to utilize this shield here. Again, it's like what we saw the last time from Disrupt. It's going to just be a rudimentary basement setup. We're going to have both the Goyo shields focused on the construction area, as well as smoke shield placed more than likely inside of laundry, just so that they have a nice area to play for laundry here, or excuse me, for freezer. But we'll have to see exactly where he's placed that later on here. Don't exactly see it just yet, so there's obviously plenty of places they can possibly slap that thing down, so to see exactly what happens with that. eUnited, though, already working their way into the site here. I'm still really interested just to see how this Monty works. They are playing quite aggressively, actually. Retro and actually Shuttle upstairs inside of Big Tower, dealing with Grixer. Shuttle hiding behind the metal box inside of the Big Tower. Grixer's not going to account for this, because who would account for this?
The thing is, though, is they wouldn't account for what he did the last round either, so they've got to be expecting something from him, given what he just did. But at the same time, there could be the possibility they're not expecting it if they're thinking, okay, that was just a one-time thing. No way he does some crazy stuff like that twice. But this could, like, doubly work because they have Retro on the stairs. If Retro is able to take the initial attention away, there's absolutely zero chance they're going to expect Shuttle to pop up, so
I think, honestly, that's the entire plan, is literally just bait Shuttle there, try and get some pressure on those back stairs and see exactly what happens. Grixer's still really, really worried about those back stairs, and he damn well should be, but I really want to see him try and drone this area out. He has some intel inside of here, but Grixer's not moved his drone forward, which means Shuttle still just gets to exist here. No one's droned him out. He's going to sit here the entire time. The only thing that eUnited could, I mean, possibly do is just wait for him to move, but this is going to be the thing that we're going to focus on for the rest of this round. Shuttle is literally the make or break for Disrupt here.
The thing is, though, is that eUnited might be kind of ignoring that. It doesn't look like they have a lot of backstairs presence at all here. We can see, once again, they're really opting for the freezer and laundry push here, so Shuttle might have to end up regrouping with the team anyway. That, or at minimum, just go for a massive flank maneuver against the overall eUnited push. Is, you know, all the time that's gone by, they've probably assumed that there's nothing really to worry about on those back stairs, except for the players that are actually at the bottom of it trying to swing up from there. Shuttle more than likely has free right to initiate, at least on the Zofia right now. And then if obviously he can make the contention happen a bit closer to the site, he could take out the large force that's pushing in from laundry. Because remember, we still have the Montaigne in play too. In fact, there we go. Shuttle pops up. He's just going to take the frag on Grixer, though. He doesn't want to try to push the advantage any further. Yeti will trade things out now as he's trying to push in from the tunnel. Shuttle already in position to try and counter this. And man, an ace headshot onto Yeti to make it happen as well. Rest of the team is pushing in here. J9 is holding on despite the Montaigne in his face. Gets himself a kill. Puts the Montaigne in an awkward spot to take him down. And after a few more trades, rally out. Disrupt, stand tall, with Shuttle getting the last kill yet again here. They'll take the first round in OT and put themselves only one more round away from closing out the series and confirming their bid into the major qualifier.
This is the best series that I've seen Shuttle have in a very, very long time. Shuttle's been a long-time player inside of Rainbow Six Siege, long-time professional player as well. And to see him have such success inside of Stage 2, especially inside of this round where everything's on the line, this is your major qual bid. This is what you need to win. It's nice to see him turn up once again. Great stuff here for Shuttle. Really, really opening up the playbook when it comes to things. And I really like that Disrupt's open-minded when it comes to it, because that's not something that you call and everyone's usually on board with. You know, like, hey, man, I'm going to lay inside a big tower and you're just going to play my staircase. Like, that's it. That was the whole thing. I'm just going to lay here, and if they drone me, I'm probably dead.
Like,
but if they don't drone me...
freedom, when you think about it, right? With some of the crazy stuff that Laxing tries to do occasionally, it's almost like that level of freedom that they've given him right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really, really nice when your squad is that invested into you. They trust you that much to try and make a proper call. And let's be honest, Shuttle's 16-4-7 right now. The guy is living in eUnited's, head rent-free. When they close their eyes at night, they're going to see Shuttle. That's what's going to happen.
And on this round specifically, they're going to see Shuttle's sledge, if they even get the opportunity to, with how quickly he's been popping off headshots here. We'll see how well the overall Disrupt roster will look against this basement attack. Like we said before, they've already shown themselves that they can handle even direct confrontation against these big tunnel takes. But they've also found the solution to get around this when you consider that, once again, a lot of the utility is going to be committed here. eUnited are smart that they're adjusting to not put everything here. You'll note that Rexon's going to deploy the ADSs a little bit more liberally across the map right now. In fact, he's still got one pocketed, so we'll see where he puts that. But he's got the second one on pillar, and he's just going to put the third one here, I think. So actually, no, they are committing quite a bit of it to this side. So once again, that's going to leave the other side of the map a bit weak with regards to trying to resist at least throwables that are coming into the site.
We are going to have that triangle choke shield setup that we saw from earlier for eUnited. So we'll see if Disrupt have game planned around this and have come up with a solution. Personally speaking, my solution, don't even touch the dang thing. There's so much utility dedicated here. Really, the only thing that they're going to be able to do is use Reed in this way. EMP above those, get rid of the ADSs, and then blow stuff up. So I like that they made this adjustment, because this is what they didn't do last time, and they actually had the Thatcher the last time as well. So utilizing their entire team's kit this time, they're actually able to make some sort of impact on this setup from eUnited. Nicely done from Disrupt.
Trying to get rid of Alfama's position is probably going to be the toughest through the avenue that they're currently using with the EMP charges here, just because you have to go for a pretty wide swing to get a nade or some piece of utility into his position, and that's where Rexon and ideally Grixer would come in to immediately shut that down if anybody attempted it. So a little bit more work to be done if they really want to try and force everybody in through that tunnel, as we've seen a lot of the other high-level teams doing here. But at least it's the beginning of something. The problem is, though, is that United also have no problem just swinging out this door and playing aggressively against Disrupt. And if Disrupt are smart, they should be aware of that. So they've got to be very cautious about how they approach that tunnel if they are still planning to use that.
Well, they've done really well so far. I mean, even looking at the scoreboard, I mean, the kills are pretty evenly spread, even on the low end. So great stuff here from Disrupt. I expect the team play to continue here, and as well as this assistance. But going into this last minute, a lot of utility being burnt on the defensive end. Smoke is going off, as well as some Selma charges for the offense, just starting to get things cleared out here. This is actually going to be a really nice little hold here. I believe he sees him. Can he get him? Oh no, the drop! Yeti! Oh my god! We didn't even see him coming! He just came all the way from attic, blows the hatch open, and shoots two people in the head! That's exactly what eUnited needed, but now NJR on the entry for DG picks up Rexon. They're trying to force things at the back of sight, but they have to worry about a Malusi inside of meeting. There's so many ways that this could go wrong. They now have pillar control as well as the single panel handled, but Yeti still has this meeting control. He drops down the hatch. They're gonna need this kill. He downs the Ash, follows through onto that, whips the pistol out, but he can't get the last one that was really needed. Retro working his way in, but Yeti's giving EU a chance here with very minimal time. They still need this plant to go down, and that's gonna be onto Retro. After that kill, this is definitely doable, but Reed already rotated, and now Retro's dead. It's a 1 versus 2. He doesn't know the positioning. Disrupt is not gonna be able to close it out this time. They gotta do it on the defense.
United, a nice hold, and Yeti, what a nice play. The rotate through the second floor above attic hatch to drop down on the players trying to get meeting hatch and destroy them both. They didn't see it coming. We didn't see it coming, but Yeti, he saw it coming, and he was able to make massive impact here to save his team in this round, stop Disrupt from having safe control over the pillar room and tunnel pushes. And as a result of that, it's shut down by DG in the 1vx situation, or excuse me, shut down by EU in the 1vx situation, and they're going to be able to take themselves up to 7-7.
That was, wow, what a round from Yeti. Great adaptation there, realizing that Disrupt didn't have any members over on the lobby side of the building, so he was safe to rotate up Freezer. So really good recognition from him, knowing what they're doing with their offense. Rotates all the way up to attic, and I mean, you guys saw what happened there. That's a round that I don't think I'm going to see the same way ever again. That was very, very well done by that United squad. So United now live to fight another round, at least. Not a day just yet. We'll see if they get that far here. They really, really need this to push this to this next map. And it's going to be headed back towards the dining kitchen setup. This is something that we saw them work against pretty well the last time around. Their solution to it, smoke off both of the doors and then go for the plant next to the little table area, right past the other table area. This area is kind of hard to describe now that I think about it, but it's the one with like the plaid couch, or not the plaid couch, but the plaid seat that no one would ever buy ever.
Right now. Yeah.
It looks like something Parker would wear. That's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this round came really close for Disrupt, so it's not too much of a surprise to see them go back to it, because the overarching strategy up until the plant, it was absolutely working for them. The problem was, is the Nitro that was supposed to deny the plant and lock the case in sight, it got shot out by Grixer. Now, that's a tough shot to hit, so I think Disrupt are gambling that won't happen again. They'll be able to properly deny it this time, even with the smokes potentially being a problem. And still, after they deny that first plant attempt, they'll be in a much better position to control the rest of the round. I think that's Disrupt's hope here, to try and get them up to the 8th round and close out this series.
I completely agree with you. I think it's a really good gamble because of that Nitro cell getting shot out of the air. eUnited have to be thinking the same thing as well, because they're obviously well aware of how that round was won. Alfama was probably clenching his cheeks right when that thing got tossed and you heard it. I mean, you can't blame the guy. You're about to get blown up from a Nitro cell. So eUnited, a lot weighs on this round right here, and they have to practically do this in perfection in order to get it done. We have a lot of eUnited members currently sitting outside of the small tower window, which is something, surely. I don't exactly know what, but it definitely is something.
A lot of players are just setting up drones more than anything right now, so a lot of them just ended up standing in the same position.
I think it's to safely clear out small tower, honestly, so that they can just like all work in from the same area.
Everybody can get in here. They know they have the player in showers, of course. They want to be careful not to run into that issue as they're trying to get into small tower itself. But as you said, with everybody up here, they can safely enter, start to wrap their way around the staircase and get into a better position to work the actual take. Because for the most part, they can kind of ignore Reed's position as long as they stay on that one side of the room and not try to drift over to where he has an angle.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. eUnited is doing more of the same that we saw them do the last time. They're still really concerned about the shower position, but the last time we didn't see them try and go against it at all. They are actually going to go about things in a very different fashion here. This time, selming the double wall that was reinforced that we don't usually see picked up. Reed, with a really, really bad move here, moves to the back showers, but ends up getting taken down. eUnited look like they really have a chance here.
Disrupt, though, still it's going to try and put some resistance onto these back halls. J9's going to take a position on the 90 corner at the end of yellow, trying to wait and see where the swing will come from. You'll note there hasn't been a commitment just yet from the eUnited camp. They did use one of their smokes to Selma open the showers, but they haven't committed the second one, and they do technically need that second one to get full coverage on the site. They're doing a lot of their droning right now, probably to custom pick where they want to throw this and make sure they block off as much as possible, but they're running out of time to get it done. This is going to be a Hail Mary execute right here. If it doesn't work and they get denied, because keep in mind, there's still 2 Nitros on the defending side right now, this could pretty much leave them with no options left to get in, and it'll be a 1 map from Disrupt. But here we go. In goes the Nitro. It blows up, but it misses Alfama. He's got a safe plant spot. Grixer doesn't even have to deny either one of them. It's going to go down. They've got to start working on this retake. Shuttle just swings out, denies the plant outright. J9 gets 2 kills for himself, but he's got to be careful. He can still get edged out here, and he's going to get taken down by Retro, who comes in at the last second to save the day for Disrupt and confirm the series for them as they close it out on round 15 in the final one of overtime and take the overall 2-0 in the series.
Oh my goodness gracious, what a way to close out a series there. I mean, both of the teams just coming out of the gates there. We saw eUnited really prepared for that execute, and then immediately when we switch over to Disrupt, they flood through the smoke. They take down the man planting. Alfama's now off the board. They have to try and pick up that case, but Disrupt winning almost every single gunfight that mattered up until that 3 versus 1 at the very end. Amazing series here for Disrupt, and I really hate to say this, but it just goes to prove eUnited can't close things out.
Yeah, unfortunately the case, and that's going to do it for myself and Stokes for the evening, folks. We'll be back, of course, in the later days. We get closer towards the major itself, but for the time being, it is indeed time to go back to our analyst desk to break things down and hopefully have a few words with our winners, who I'm sure are going to be very excited they came out on top of that one.
Blue and